Welcome to the Sunday morning announcements with Rita, announcer voice avatar. If you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, please subscribe to get notifications when we have new videos. If you're with us on Zoom, say hi in the chat. We'd love to say hi back. If you're with us in person, hello everybody here. If this is your first visit, please sign the guest book, either in the lobby or online at oakcliffuu.org/guest. Have you seen our UUCOC board members hanging out in the pass-through on Sunday before our services and wondered what the heck they're doing? They are taking turns every week answering questions and talking with our members and visitors about the church. You can take advantage of this opportunity either in person or on Zoom. You have likely been hearing about the adoption of an 8th principle to add to the 7 we've all known as UUs for ages. Do you have questions? Renée Brill takes our pulpit today to talk about how it came to be and where it might lead us. We hope you can stick around with after the services for Talkback, where we gather in a circle and discuss the service and related topics. For those online, see the Zoom chat at the end of the service for the meeting information. Adult Religious Exploration with Sarah Rickey continues today with a review of 2023. Join in person at 11:15 in the Hope Library or on Zoom. At 2 p.m., there's a worship ministry meeting in Charity North. Let me say that again, it moved to Charity North. And on Zoom. Anyone who is willing to help us plan worship services or wants to see what goes into planning them is encouraged to attend. Or just come to see the spiffed up Charity North meeting room. Coming up this week, our Widening the Circle of Concern work group continues to meet on Monday at 7 p.m. Please join us by attending the weekly meeting and or submitting your comments and suggestions via email at wcoc@oakcliffuu.org. At last week's meeting, the WCOC team celebrated the successful delivery of our first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion workshop. Saturday's on-campus event went very well with 10 participants and 2 co-facilitators. Stay tuned for detailed plans for future workshops designated to accommodate different scheduling and time constraints. The Social Justice Ministry Reading Group continues on February 8th with the book Black Pioneers in a White Denomination by Mark D. Morrison Reed. Admin Rita has an important message. Thank you, announcer voice Rita Avatar. Hey, I know almost every one of you volunteered your time and talent to keep our church running in 2023. This church would not even exist without you. Could you do one more little thing, though? If you worked on committees or projects or volunteered your time in other ways, and you didn't sign a paper time tracker, please record your time online at oakcliffuu.org/volunteer2023. Now show me some love and do it by Valentine's Day, February 14th, so I can do my spreadsheet magic and report back to the congregation. If you aren't sure if your time has been recorded, check your Breeze profile or contact Rita, contact me at admin@oakcliffuu.org. Now back to announcer voice Rita Avatar. Keep watching your eBlast newsletter for more info and all of this and more. If you aren't receiving the e-blast, just sign up at oakcliffuu.org/enews. It's easy. Wait, this just in. There's more. We have a member anniversary to celebrate this week. Bobby Blanche joined UUCOC on February 1st, 2003. Yay, Bobby! This is announcer voice Rita Avatar, signing off. Have a great week.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Let us begin our sacred work with these words from Reverend Molly Brewer. My beloved people, I cannot pretend, and so I will not tell you, that everything is okay right now, that there is no reason to be angry, that you must be optimistic or at peace. I cannot pretend these things, so I won't tell them to you. But now our chalice is lit, and so all I ask in this moment is that we remember the words of Rebecca Parker. There is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all. By the light of our chalice, let us rest in this love.
People of UU Church.
In our community, we take time each week to share what's in our hearts and on our minds. If your heart is heavy today, know that you don't have to carry that heartache alone. Together, we can offer comfort. Please share your sorrows publicly by posting them in the Zoom chat, or send them to Facebook Messenger, or speak them aloud.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
We also share our joys with one another, knowing that joy calls unto joy. Together, our voices can rise in a chorus of celebration. Please share your joys publicly by posting them to the Zoom chat, or send them to our Facebook Messenger, or speak them aloud. Welcome to the UU Church of Oak Cliff. Here, we seek to build a community where what you believe is less important than how your beliefs guide and inform your participation in the world. Ours is a community that strives to value the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. To our returning visitors, we're so happy you've joined us again. We know your time is precious, and we're honored to have you here today. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to any who are joining us for the first time. We recognize the bravery it takes to come into a new place, and we're glad you're here. Ours is a covenantal church. Latin for come together, covenant means a solemn agreement or promise from the heart regarding a course of action between parties. Practice of promising to walk together is the core of our faith. Simply put, it's a guide for the behavior we expect from ourselves and from each other. We are bound together by the promises we make to each other, and we recite our covenant during every worship service. Rise in body or spirit if you can. Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance in service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together. And Sherry will lead us in Spanish.
Porque nos amamos uno a otro, honoramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y acepción. Así que hacemos pacto.
Good morning. I would like to start with a quick grounding, and normally I would walk you through that with my voice, but as you can tell, my voice is a little precious for me right now. So let's just take a couple of moments of deep breaths and quiet together. Thank you. This morning, we're talking about the 8th principle of Unitarian Universalism. This principle was initiated by Paula Cole-Jones of what was the Joseph Priestley District and is now part of the Central East Regional Group, or the Mid-Atlantic District of the UUA, with the help of Bruce Pollock John to work on this particular turning of the wheel of our faith, along with Black Lives of UU and Drum and other activists in our Unitarian Universalist circle. From the 8th principle of Unitarian Universalism, it has this to say on this work that she felt called to do. She developed the idea of two different paradigms in UU circles: the UU 7 principles and the beloved community, or a deep multiculturalism. After working with congregations on these issues for 15 years, she realized that a person can believe that they are being a good UU and following the 7 principles without thinking about or dealing with racism and other oppressions at a systemic level. Part of the evidence for this is that most Unitarian Universalist congregations are primarily European American in membership, culture, especially music, and leadership, even when located near or in diverse communities. So Paula Cole-Jones, with help from others, worked on this 8th principle of Unitarian Universalism to make clear, bring into the open what is only hinted at, I think, in our other principles. It reads, "We covenant to affirm and promote journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, beloved, multicultural community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions." I'm going to read that again just to make sure I have the wording correct. We covenant to affirm and promote journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. As I've been thinking about this week, this topic, I've been thinking a lot about when I became a Unitarian Universalist and what it meant to me to see our principles and to see them living in action, to see community being built from people who didn't always agree with each other, to see that wisdom arises in so many places and not just from the pulpit. In fact, it's a great truism that most of the best parts of the sermon don't happen in the words that are said from the pulpit, but they actually happen as we sit and talk to each other in talkback. And that talkback circle that we have together is one of the ways that we practice our faith journey together. That is what Unitarian Universalism can look like. Sitting down and talking about our theology, our belief, what matters very most to us, and holding that up, not against, but maybe next to one another, and examining where the overlap is, where the differences might be, and what we learn in those differences. And even and especially where we might hold beliefs that cause other people harm, that cause harm to other communities than our own. That's part of what it means to accountably journey in faith to one another. Listening to one another on our journey and hearing each other when we say, that hurts me, or that causes me harm. Or, that's interesting, I'll have to think more about that. When I became a Unitarian Universalist, what I wanted was a place that would hold me and support me in living my values in the world. I had values that were only values in my mouth, if that makes sense. They weren't values in action. They weren't values in the way that I lived my life. And I could see that actually the way the world is, it's very difficult to live out a life of value on your own. With the long work hours and struggling to make ends meet and the constant messages that you're not enough and that you need more things. It's really easy to get lost in the muddle of all of those things. And what I found in Unitarian Universalism was a place where I could be supported in my values, challenged, be with people who are trying to live them in brave and amazing new ways. And one of the things that I love about our faith tradition is that we have an expectation that it changes over time. The Unitarian Universalism that exists now is different from how it existed 20 or 40 years ago. It's different from when we merged together as two faith traditions into one. It's different from the days of William Ellery Channing and Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson. Some of the things that they would have called important, we think of as less so. The principles would have been totally unfamiliar to them. But as Unitarian Universalists, we deeply and profoundly believe that the truth is still happening, that there is still learning to be done, that we don't have all of the answers yet, but we're committed to looking for them. What this says on the page of Unitarian Universalists for the 8th principle, where it talks about our evidence that we're not actually living our values the way we think we are. That the fact that many of our churches are predominantly of European American descent is proof that we're not as hospitable people who are people of color. It's proof that we aren't quite living our values as we want them to. And so, as Unitarian Universalists, it is our responsibility and our gift to change our religion, to change it to meet what is needed now and to meet what we know we need. Change our faith so that we can rise and so that we can become the truly beloved community that we long for. To become a place of peace and joy and beauty and sanctuary for all people. That mission, that universal belonging that we seek, that is the destination. And our principles, they guide us there. And when we found that they weren't quite getting us there, the time came to change them. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the gift of being asked to change my religion again. Thinking about how this fits in with all of the other work we've been doing as a congregation. And it feels good. It feels like it's the time. It feels like it's an honest reflection of who we are as a people. Yes, we are more than words. We love words. We are more than words. We are love that is an action, community that is a sanctuary, and a community that must become the sanctuary for all people that the world so desperately needs right now. I invite you over the coming months to study, meditate, and discuss this 8th principle with one another. Think about how it might ask you to change the way you practice your faith. But also think about how it might be reflected in the ways you have already started to practice your faith. I'm looking forward to this journey together. And I hope that together we can vote to affirm the 8th principle of Unitarian Universalism as truly worthy of being a star to guide us in our quest to find and to build the beloved community. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide. And so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love. Thank y'all. Thank you, Tim.
Good morning, all. Oh, I like it when that happens. I like it when there's like words back. We miss out on that here sometimes. So, yay, thank you. I'm Sherry Randall, most of you know, but we have guests in the house, so I figured I'd introduce myself. In the spring of 2021, so coming up on 3 years now, UUCOC added a second covenant to our weekly worship service. Our Widening the Circle of Concern work takes its name from a national level study, in-depth study that was done, that was published in 2020, having to do with how our denomination nationally was dealing with white supremacy and racism, traces of that within our own ranks. And so we engaged with that study when it came out pretty heavily. A number of us have read through it and discussed it a couple of times. And as part of that, we created this covenant that we're about to share. It's printed in your order of worship, and it will appear on the screen behind me. We, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff, commit ourselves to the study and dismantling of racism and oppression within our congregation. We commit our congregation and ourselves to the work of anti-racism and anti-oppression. We commit ourselves to listening, to learning, and to action. When we fail, we commit ourselves to trying again and again. We covenant to begin this work and to continue until all of us can truly say that we are a beloved community of justice, equity, and compassion. Thank you. So, this morning, as part of our Widening the Circle of Concern work, I want to share a poem with you by the Reverend Dr. Odette Fulbright Folsom. But first, a bit of introduction. There we go. As of last November, Reverend Dr. Odette Fulbright Folsom is the lead minister of UUC Asheville in North Carolina, after having served congregations in the South, on the West Coast, in the Midwest, and in New York City. She has been deeply involved in racial reconciliation and conflict resolution work for over 15 years, and was delighted to perform the first after the law passed, first LGBTQ marriage in Wyoming. Because I'm betting there were some marriages happened before the law passed as well. But Reverend Dr. Odette also says of herself, "My origin story carries within it many of the struggles that are common in the U.S. My mother's father, my papa, Walter, was half Comanche. In World War II, he was drafted into what were called, at the time, the colored units. My papa, my mother, and my aunt all suffered the more overt impacts of racism against indigenous peoples because they carried this part of their identity on their skin. But my grandfather and my mother's story are still different from my own because I inherited my father's blonder hair and lighter eyes and skin tone, and thus my story was easily erased into whiteness as it exists in the U.S. For multiracial people, where and how to tell the stories of your people is awkward, especially when no one asks because they assume they see who you are, assume your gender, your sexuality, your ethnicity, where you belong. So I try not to assume I know you or your story. Sometimes I succeed." Reverend Odette wrote this prayer for the morning in 2015, I believe. Did you rise this morning broken and hung over with weariness and pain and rage, tattered from waving too long in a brutal wind? Get up, child. Pull your bones upright. Gather your skin and muscle into a patch of sun. Draw breath deep into your lungs. You will need it, for another day calls to you. I know you ache. I know you wish the work were done, and you, with everyone you have ever loved, were on a distant shore, safe and unafraid. But remember this, tired as you are not alone. Here and here and here also, there are others weeping and rising and gathering their courage. You belong to them, and they to you, and together we will break through and bend the arc of justice all the way down into our lives.
I have a reading for our offertory from Jessica Lynn. We make it possible. I come on Sunday feeling weary, having worn out the snooze button on my alarm clock. I come to Sunday feeling frightened, having seared my eyes reading the latest news. I come on Sunday feeling burdened, having fretted about my daily worries. But I leave Sunday service feeling refreshed, having been renewed by the spirit of love in the community that exists here. I leave Sunday service feeling whole, feeling lifted up by the words of righteous challenge. I leave Sunday service feeling energized, ready to continue our fight for peace and justice. This haven, this refuge, this place of worship and wonder only exists because we make it so, with our contributions, the gifts of our time, our skills, our food, our love, our laughter, and our money. Please join me in giving so that we may continue to have a place that fortifies and challenges us in these trying and troubled times. Members, if you're contributing cash toward your pledge, please use the envelope provided and write your name on it. To text your donation, see the number on your order of service. And for more options, see oakcliffuu.org/donate. Closing words today from Reverend Dr. Audette Fulbright Bolson. We are not done. Do not think we are finished. Oh no, we will never be finished, never just done, until the light of justice is lit behind every eye. We have come to take back the world that is the inheritance of better children, better lovers, better days. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el color de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.